What if I told you that your brain isn't fixed, that it can grow, adapt, and transform at any point in your life? What if memory loss, lack of focus, and mental fatigue weren't inevitable signs of aging, but simply signals that your brain hasn't been trained properly? For centuries, people believed that intelligence was predetermined and that the brain reached its peak in youth before slowly fading with time. But today, science paints a very different picture. Modern neuroscience reveals that the human brain is not a static organ. It's dynamic, flexible, and astonishingly resilient. It continuously reshapes itself through every thought, every movement, and every challenge we face. Your brain is not limited by age or genetics. It's limited only by how much you use it and how intentionally you exercise it. The truth is, your brain is more like a muscle than most people realize. Just as lifting weights strengthens your body, engaging in mentally demanding activities strengthens your neural circuits. Every time you learn something new, solve a problem, or push your mind beyond its comfort zone, your brain responds by forming new connections between neurons. This process, known as neuroplasticity, is the foundation of learning, memory, and intelligence. Through neuroplasticity, the brain rewires itself to adapt to new experiences. It's what allows stroke patients to recover speech, musicians to master instruments, and ordinary people to unlock extraordinary mental power. Yet in our modern age, the very technology that connects us also weakens our mental endurance. Constant notifications, endless scrolling, and fragmented attention spans drain our cognitive energy. We are more connected than ever, yet less focused. The brain thrives on deep concentration, but today, it rarely gets the chance. Instead of stretching its capacity, we often feed it instant dopamine hits, quick entertainment, short bursts of information, and minimal reflection. Over time, this pattern dulls the brain's natural sharpness. But the good news is that the same brain that becomes distracted can be retrained to become focused, creative, and unstoppable. You can rebuild mental strength the same way you'd rebuild physical fitness, with the right exercises and consistent practice. In this journey, you're going to discover 10 powerful, science-backed brain exercises designed to improve your memory, focus, and overall cognitive performance. These are not vague ideas or motivational cliches. They are grounded in neuroscience and psychology. Each exercise will help you activate specific regions of your brain responsible for learning, recall, decision-making, and creativity. Some will challenge your discipline, others will expand your awareness, but all of them will help you reach a higher level of mental clarity and control. Whether you're a student struggling to remember what you study, a professional battling distractions, or someone who simply wants to feel more mentally alive, these exercises can transform the way you think, focus, and live. So before we dive into the first exercise, take a moment to realize the power you already possess. Your brain is not something that happens to you. It's something you can shape. The neurons inside your head are waiting for your direction, your intention, and your effort. And from this very moment, you have the ability to reprogram them. Think of this as a reset button, not just for your focus, but for your entire mental operating system. Let's begin. Exercise 1, the focus drill, training your attention span. If there's one skill that defines success in the 21st century, it's the ability to focus. In a world full of distractions, focus has become a superpower. Research shows that the average person's attention span has dropped dramatically over the last decade, largely due to digital overload. The human brain, however, is designed for deep, sustained concentration. When you train your brain to focus for longer periods, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making, planning, and self-control. Strengthening this area doesn't just improve attention, it enhances memory, creativity, and even emotional balance. To begin training your focus, choose one simple task, reading, writing, or solving a puzzle, and set a timer for just 10 minutes. During this time, commit to complete uninterrupted focus, no phone, no notifications, no switching between tasks. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back. That act of returning your attention is the mental equivalent of lifting a weight. Every time you catch yourself drifting and refocus, you are strengthening your brain's ability to concentrate. Start small, then gradually extend the duration. Over time, your focus will sharpen, and you'll find it easier to stay present in any situation. What's remarkable is how this exercise affects your daily life. People who practice focused attention experience lower stress levels and greater clarity of thought. They report making decisions faster and remembering information longer. It's like clearing the fog off a windshield. You start seeing your path with precision. The first few days might feel difficult, even frustrating, but that's a sign your brain is waking up. Just as muscles ache when they're rebuilding strength, your brain feels resistance when it's forming new neural pathways. Push through it. Your future clarity depends on it. Focus training is not just about productivity. It's about reclaiming your mental sovereignty. The modern world constantly competes for your attention. Advertisers, apps, endless content feeds. But the moment you learn to control your focus, you control your mind. And when you control your mind, you control your life. This simple habit, practiced daily, will do more for your mental power than any supplement or shortcut ever could. So, begin today. Sit quietly, pick one task, and train your mind to do one thing with absolute presence. That's how mental mastery begins, one moment of focus at a time. Exercise 2. Memory visualization, the science of seeing with the mind. One of the most powerful yet underrated techniques to strengthen memory is visualization, the ability to create mental images so vivid that they anchor information deep into your long-term memory. Neuroscientists have long discovered that the brain doesn't distinguish much between seeing something with your eyes and imagining it in your mind. Both actions activate similar regions in the visual cortex, located in the occipital lobe of your brain. That means when you visualize something clearly, you are essentially programming your brain to treat it as a real experience. This is why athletes mentally rehearse their performance before stepping on the field, and memory champions picture elaborate stories to recall hundreds of numbers or words. Visualization transforms abstract information into living, memorable experiences inside the mind. To practice this, choose something you want to remember. It could be a list of words, a speech, or even a set of daily tasks. Instead of trying to memorize them through repetition, imagine them in creative and exaggerated ways. For instance, if your grocery list includes apples, milk, and bread, imagine a giant apple rolling across your kitchen floor, a river of milk flowing from your refrigerator, and a loaf of bread floating in the air like a balloon. The stranger the image, the stronger the memory. That's because unusual visuals activate your brain's hippocampus, which links emotions, imagination, and memory into one cohesive network. The more senses you engage, sight, sound, touch, even smell, the more deeply that information imprints into your neural pathways. Visualization is not just for memory. It's also a powerful tool for achieving goals and improving learning. When you mentally rehearse success, whether it's giving a confident presentation, passing an exam, or performing on stage, you're activating the same neural circuits that would fire in real life. Over time, your brain becomes familiar with success before it happens. This creates a psychological and physiological readiness, a blueprint that turns imagination into reality. Visualization primes your mind for action and reduces fear or hesitation because, to the brain, you've already been there. The next time you sit down to study or prepare for something important, close your eyes and see it unfold in your mind's eye. Not vaguely, but with detail, color, and emotion. Do this daily, and your recall ability will skyrocket while your confidence deepens effortlessly. Exercise 3. Neuronutrition. Feeding the brain for peak performance. Your brain is the most energy-hungry organ in your body. It makes up only about 2% of your total weight, yet it consumes over 20% of your daily energy. Every thought you think, every memory you store, and every decision you make requires an enormous amount of fuel. That fuel comes directly from the food you eat. While most people focus on diet for physical health, few realize that nutrition is one of the most powerful tools for brain optimization. What you feed your body, you feed your mind. A poor diet leads to sluggish thinking, low mood, and memory lapses, while the right nutrients can elevate your focus, creativity, and mental endurance. The brain thrives on a diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and slow-releasing glucose. Omega-3s, found in walnuts, flax seeds, and fatty fish like salmon, strengthen the communication between brain cells by maintaining flexible cell membranes. Antioxidants from berries, leafy greens, and dark chocolate protect your neurons from oxidative stress, a kind of rusting process that damages memory and speed of thought. Complex carbohydrates from oats, quinoa, and fruits provide a steady flow of glucose, the brain's primary energy source, preventing energy crashes that cause mental fog. Hydration also plays a crucial role. Even mild dehydration can shrink brain tissue and reduce alertness, yet most people go through their day underhydrated. Drinking enough water is not just good for your body, it's a mental performance enhancer. But nutrition goes beyond just food. It's also about balance and rhythm. Eating the right food at the wrong time can blunt its effect. For instance, starting your day with a sugar-heavy breakfast floods your bloodstream with glucose, giving a quick burst of energy followed by a crash, leaving your brain fatigued and irritable. On the other hand, a breakfast rich in protein and healthy fats stabilizes your blood sugar and keeps your focus sharp for hours. Supplements like B vitamins, magnesium, and vitamin D can also support cognitive health, especially if your diet lacks variety. However, real food should always come first. Your brain doesn't just need nutrients, it needs the symphony of natural compounds that whole foods provide. When you start treating food as brain fuel, your perception of eating changes. You're no longer feeding cravings, you're fueling intelligence. Imagine every meal as a chance to upgrade your mental hardware. sharper focus, stronger memory, steadier mood. Within just weeks of consistent, clean nutrition, many people report thinking more clearly, sleeping better, and feeling mentally lighter. Science backs this up. Studies show that diets high in whole foods and low in processed sugars significantly increase gray matter volume, the part of your brain involved in processing and reasoning. In short, what you eat today shapes how you think tomorrow. Every bite is a message to your brain. Make it a message of clarity, not confusion. Exercise 4. Brain-body connection. Coordinated movement for mental power. Your brain does not exist in isolation. Every movement you make, from walking to typing to juggling multiple tasks, sends a continuous stream of signals back to your neural networks. Yet most people rarely challenge this connection. The brain-body connection is not just a concept. It's a scientifically proven method to increase focus, memory, and mental agility. When you coordinate your body and mind through unusual movements, your brain is forced out of autopilot. It engages new neural pathways, strengthens neuroplasticity, and boosts cognitive flexibility. In other words, movement literally grows your brain. A simple yet highly effective exercise is cross-lateral movement. For example, touch your left elbow to your right knee while stepping in place. Switch sides repeatedly. This movement requires your brain to plan, process, and execute in ways it is not accustomed to. The cerebellum, the part of your brain responsible for coordination and motor learning, becomes more active, which enhances memory recall and attention span. For a more advanced version, combine memory recall with movement. Walk slowly around a safe space while reciting a list of words, numbers, or steps from memory. Try reversing the order or alternating sides. Your body becomes a tool for your mind, making your brain sharper, faster, and more resilient. These exercises are particularly effective for those struggling with brain fog, poor focus, or slow thinking. Even just 5 minutes of intentional movement combined with mental effort triggers mental alertness that can last hours. Think of it as a full brain warm-up. Your mind wakes up the same way your body does during morning stretching or gym routines. Over time, these exercises strengthen neural connectivity, meaning your thoughts become faster, your memory becomes more reliable, and your attention becomes sharper even in high-stress environments. Exercise 5. Mindful breathing. Oxygenate your brain for clarity. Breathing is automatic, but very few people ever practice conscious, mindful breathing, the kind that maximizes oxygen delivery to your brain while calming your nervous system. The human brain consumes nearly a quarter of all oxygen in the body. When your breathing is shallow or erratic, your brain is starved of oxygen, which reduces focus, memory, and energy. Mindful breathing is one of the simplest, most effective, and scientifically validated ways to improve cognitive performance instantly. Begin with box breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale slowly for 4 seconds, and hold again for 4 seconds. Repeat this cycle 5 to 10 times. This exercise increases oxygen flow to the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making, focus, and memory. It also reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, which can otherwise interfere with your brain's ability to store and retrieve information. Over time, regular mindful breathing not only sharpens memory, but also improves emotional regulation, reduces anxiety, and enhances creative thinking. For an advanced version, combine breathing with visualization. As you inhale, imagine filling your brain with light and clarity. As you exhale, imagine releasing fog, distraction, and mental clutter. This dual activation of body and imagination reinforces neural pathways associated with attention, memory, and emotional resilience. Within weeks, daily mindful breathing can transform your mental clarity, energy levels, and ability to remain present, even during complex or stressful tasks. The synergy of brain-body coordination and mindful breathing demonstrates a critical principle. Your mind grows in proportion to your conscious engagement of both body and brain. Mental sharpness is not just about memorizing facts, it's about creating conditions, oxygenation, coordination, focus, that allow your brain to operate at peak performance consistently. Exercise 6. Teach to learn. Lock memory by sharing knowledge. One of the most powerful, yet overlooked ways to solidify memory is to teach what you've learned. Memory is not just about storing information. It's about retrieving it efficiently and confidently. When you teach, your brain is forced to organize knowledge, simplify complex ideas, connect concepts, and explain them clearly. This deep processing activates multiple areas of your brain simultaneously: logical reasoning, verbal memory, emotional energy, and executive function, which ensures that the lesson you teach is stored for the long term. Start small. Take one concept, method, or list of words you've learned today. Anything from a memory chain story to a new vocabulary list, and explain it to someone else, a friend, family member, or even yourself in the mirror. The key is to speak as if your audience truly depends on you. Don't just read. Break the content down. Give examples. Make it relatable. And connect it with emotions or images. As you do this, your brain encodes the information deeply, and recall becomes effortless. For example, if you learn the memory chain game with 10 random words, don't just recall them silently. Close the video or your notes and explain it. Take 10 random items, create a bizarre story linking them in order, and repeat it aloud to strengthen associative memory. By doing this, you are not just memorizing the steps. You are embedding the logic, images, and emotions into your neural pathways. Teaching also reveals gaps in your understanding, forcing your brain to correct and refine knowledge. Over time, this exercise dramatically improves retention, mental clarity, and communication skills. People who teach consistently are always the ones who remember best, speak most fluently, and think most clearly. Exercise 7. Sound recall drill. Train your auditory memory. Memory is often thought of as visual, lists, notes, diagrams, but the majority of real-life memory depends on auditory input. Conversations, lectures, instructions, phone calls, and even environmental sounds. Most people never train their auditory memory, which is why they often forget what they just heard or feel lost in meetings. The sound recall drill strengthens your brain's ability to encode, retain, and retrieve sounds accurately. Here's how it works. Take any short audio clip, a podcast segment, a sentence from a lecture, a voice note, or even a friend's message. Listen once without writing anything down. Pause the clip, and then repeat aloud everything you just heard, in your own words. Play the clip again, check for missing details, and repeat. This forces your auditory cortex, working memory, and language processing centers to work together. The more you repeat, the stronger the memory loops become. You can increase difficulty by using different accents, longer segments, or background noise. For English learners, this drill is a gold mine. You're practicing pronunciation, comprehension, memory, and articulation simultaneously. Over time, this improves your ability to recall conversations, remember instructions, follow complex lectures, and even excel in interviews. Most importantly, you develop active listening skills, making your mind more present and sharper in every interaction. Exercise 8. Countdown recall. Sharpen short-term memory under pressure. Life often demands quick thinking. You need to remember details under pressure, in exams, interviews, meetings, or social situations. This is where the countdown recall drill comes in. A rapid-fire mental exercise designed to strengthen short-term memory, focus, and cognitive speed. Begin by selecting 5 to 10 random items or words from your environment. Objects on your desk, groceries, colors, or numbers. Look at them carefully for 20 seconds. Then, close your eyes or cover them. Set a timer for 1 minute and recall as many as possible, saying them aloud or writing them down. After 1 minute, check your accuracy and repeat. To challenge yourself further, recall the items backwards, alphabetically, or even by category. Incorporate words you're learning in English, sentences from your study material, or facts from your work. This forces your brain to organize and retrieve information quickly, under time pressure. Over time, this drill builds mental reflexes, sharpens attention, and enhances decision-making under stress. It also strengthens your working memory, making you faster at thinking, speaking, and acting with confidence. The beauty of this exercise is its simplicity. It takes only a few minutes a day, but produces profound effects. Better recall in conversations, exams, presentations, and daily tasks. Combined with the previous exercises, brain-body connection, mindful breathing, teaching, and sound recall, it creates a fully trained, alert, and high-performing mind ready to tackle any challenge. Exercise 9. Visualization Mastery. The power of mental imagery. The human brain doesn't think in words. It thinks in pictures. Every powerful memory you have is stored as an image, an emotion, or a vivid scene. That's why visualization is one of the most effective exercises for boosting memory, focus, and creativity. When you learn to visualize effectively, you're not just imagining. You're programming your brain to encode information through imagery, activating the same neural circuits used for real-life experience. Start simple. Take any object or concept and build a mental movie around it. Let's say the word is mountain. Don't just see a still mountain. Imagine yourself standing at its base, feeling the cool air, hearing the wind, and seeing sunlight reflecting on snow. Make it alive. The richer and more emotional your visualization, the stronger the neural connection becomes. You can apply this to anything. A study topic, a new vocabulary word, a concept from work, or a personal goal. For memory improvement, use visualization to create memory palaces, a centuries-old technique used by monks and scholars. Imagine a familiar place, like your home, and assign each object or corner a piece of information. When you mentally walk through it later, you'll recall every detail effortlessly. Over time, your brain learns to store data spatially and emotionally, making recall natural and automatic. Visualization also strengthens concentration and creative problem solving, because it forces your mind to hold focus while generating complex sensory detail. Every great thinker, from Einstein to Leonardo da Vinci, used visualization. Einstein once said he never thought in words, only in images. When you visualize clearly, you train your brain to think faster, remember longer, and create smarter. Exercise 10. Daily Reflection, the mind gym for lifelong clarity. The final exercise is both simple and life-changing. Daily reflection. In a world of distractions, your brain needs moments of stillness to organize, process, and integrate the flood of information it receives every day. Reflection is that process. A mental gym session where you strengthen awareness, insight, and clarity. Before sleeping, spend 5 to 10 minutes reviewing your day. Not with guilt or overthinking, but with curiosity and observation. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? What moments challenged my focus? What helped me remember better? Replay key experiences in your mind, like a slow-motion video. Notice details, sights, sounds, and emotions. By doing this, you are transferring short-term memory into long-term storage, a process similar to how your brain naturally consolidates memories during sleep. You can also write a few lines in a journal. Writing forces you to translate thoughts into structured language, which activates logic and creativity together. Over time, this daily reflection sharpens emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and decision-making. It's a habit that builds both mental strength and emotional calmness. Just as muscles need rest and recovery, your brain needs reflection to integrate knowledge and maintain balance. Make it a ritual. Every night, reflect on what you did, what you learned, and how you felt. Within a few weeks, you'll notice deeper focus, faster recall, and more clarity in every part of your life. Final message: rebuild, retrain, and rise. Your brain is not fixed. It's alive, growing, and waiting to be shaped by the actions you take each day. Every exercise you've learned in this guide, from mindful breathing to visualization, is a tool to reprogram your mind for clarity, focus, and lifelong learning. You don't need special equipment or hours of study, just consistency, curiosity, and self-belief. Remember this: intelligence isn't about how much you know. It's about how well you can focus, adapt, and recall when it matters most. When you strengthen your memory, you strengthen your life, your conversations, your studies, your decisions, and your confidence. Each exercise rewires a small part of your brain, and together they form a new mental architecture built on awareness and discipline. Start today. Pick 1 or 2 exercises, maybe visualization or sound recall, and practice them daily. Track your progress and notice how your thinking changes. You'll begin to feel sharper, calmer, and more in control of your mind. And when that happens, when your memory feels like it's finally working for you, not against you, you'll realize that you've unlocked something far more powerful than intelligence: mental freedom. Call to action. If you found this guide inspiring, don't let it end here. Practice daily, share your progress, and challenge yourself to stay consistent for 30 days. You'll be amazed at how your memory, focus, and confidence transform. If you want more science-backed brain exercises, focus techniques, and self-growth tools, subscribe now and join our community of learners building stronger, sharper, and calmer minds every single day. Your brain is your most powerful tool. Train it, and it will change your world.